Hi, I'm Keith Bazinski with GMDC, and today I'd like to just take you through a couple templates that are available to all of our member companies um, regarding how to do a proper presentation or how to prepare for a controlled casual conference at any of the GMDC marketing conferences. We hear a lot of times that in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, it may be tough to present and get your message across to a retailer or supplier company. So we thought we'd provide a couple templates for you to use. Not that you have to use these templates, but it would be a good resource in preparing for any of your meetings at a GMDC conference in a controlled casual conference CCC format presentation. We've broken it down into two presentations templates. One for doing business with a retail or wholesale member company that you currently don't do business with or have not had an introduction to them. And then secondly, I'll cover a presentation template for a company that presentation to a company that you may already be doing business with. So you'll have two types of presentations, and hopefully it'll provide you a template to utilize in a short 10-minute or 20-minute meeting with a retailer or wholesale member. In a lot of cases, you want to make sure that you're utilizing only a portion of the time, but also remember to allow the retail or wholesale member proper time to express anything that they're looking for. So I would keep that in mind in your 10-minute or 20-minute presentation to really be prepared to talk about half or just a little bit over the half a time, and to leave the other time open for the retail wholesale member to comment, to add comments of things that they're looking for, and to ask questions. So the first template I will utilize is the presentation template to be used with a new business partner you'll be doing business with or presenting to. So in this case, you always want to try to customize them as much as possible to the retailer or wholesaler member that you're presenting to. And I would ask that you do background information or look at information about the retailer or wholesaler that you're going to be presenting to, because it'll be vital that you understand their business, the type of stores that they have, the type of either health and beauty or general merchandise products they're already carrying. So doing your pre-work is important for a company that you're going to be presenting to. Some of this information can be looked at within the GMDC member directory area. So you can look up any retail or wholesale member and look at their profile, number of stores that they have, types of stores, etc. So it'll be important that you look at that type of information first before you even start preparing each of these presentations. So the first slide, again, if you have the retailer title or logo or something that you can insert, feel free to do so. Not necessary, you can make it generic, but the more you can customize it, the better. On the next page, I would provide a little bit about your company, since they may not be aware of who you are, to provide details here about who you are, where you're located, the scale or the size of your company, any of your core values, and also list any of your key products or services that you offer. If you can provide those in pictures, logos, it's always great to do that. You don't need to put it on words. But any way that you can customize in a one page to give a little bit of background about your company will be important. Then I would move on to, why are you in business? What types of products are you or services that you're offering that meet a consumer's need? And you can provide just a little bit of basic information about how you fulfill those needs. And then what are the current solutions that may be available to meet those consumer needs? And then also, how is your product going to fit in? Meaning, okay, there may be these current solutions, but there's this gap, or there's an opportunity that's not being met, and how your product is potentially going to fill that gap. And then finally, the role of the category or the channel, and how your products will play into that category or that role. So in short, three segments, just to be able to set up why are you bringing your product to market, how it's going to fulfill that retailer or that channel or consumer need. And then you can list your products that will fill that and provide just a short, brief overview of those products. Once you get through that, on the next page then would be to actually show then how are you going to support that effort. Are you going to be doing any type of TV? Are you going to do any social media to actually get your message about your products or services out to fulfill those needs to the marketplace? If you don't have marketing or media coverage or social media, then what type of promotional or merchandising support will you provide with that to the retailer? It could be couponing. It could be a coupon in store. It could be a merchandising display that explains your message, explains the product, gets it exposed to the consumer while they're in that retailer's store. And then finally, what type of promotional efforts you may have available to work with the retailer to help promote the category, to help promote your product within that retailer. And then finally, just to recap for that retailer, what are going to be the key benefits of your product to them? What are the top line benefits to them from a sales standpoint? What is the bottom line, margin? The retailer is going to want to buy this product to sell it to make money. So what are their bottom line benefits? Then also, how will it be bring back a benefit from a customer loyalty standpoint because they are offering this product within their stores, not only to the consumer but also to the category? Is it filling a need, a benefit to the consumer within the category? And then any other additional benefits that you may want to provide that will be offered to the retailer. And finally, and probably most important, will be, okay, what are the next steps? And we've really developed what we call a green light, yellow light, red light recap or summary sheet. And this is probably very important in your discussion with the retailer. Number one, to find out, do they have interest? And if that would be a green light, yes, they have interest, or no, they don't have interest. It's good to know, but also find out why they may not have interest. It may not just be the right product, the right time, et cetera. So you can also use it as a good market research. Boy, if I could do this, the retailer may then bring me in. So don't look at it as being a negative, but also look at it as being a positive for improvement, or how you might be able to improve the promotional efforts, et cetera, to be able to get it into a specific retailer. But more importantly, get that recap and get a green light, yellow light, a red light. And really, when we say a green light is, boy, that's got to be pretty immediate action within the next couple weeks. It may be just a follow-up because the retailer is not doing their category review of that product and would really like to have a follow-up in a couple months when they're actually doing the review. I would then look at what type of follow-up do they want. Is it a conference call? Is it a meeting on site? Or you can use GMDC Connect video meeting and set up a meeting virtually with them using GMDC Connect video call. Also look at then, who should the follow-up be with? Is it with the person you met at the conference? Is it a specific category buyer or director that you should be meeting with? And at what time, again, should that be done? In 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next couple months? Also, you'll want to know, do you need to provide them some follow-up samples or information? And should those be sent right away? Should they be sent again in a couple months? And then an implementation plan. Does the retailer need a more detailed plan, and then when do they want that? Along with a promotional plan. And then if it's a seasonal type product, it may be something that they're going to want specific plans for a season. And there may be different timings for that. You may have an immediate plan, but for a seasonal plan, they may want you to also follow up in a couple months when they're doing the planning for that season. So I would say this is critical. If you do not get an answer here, it's up to you to ask those questions so you know exactly what's the next steps for every appointment that you have during a CCC meeting. If you can get to that, that's terrific. There's also then some additional follow-up sheets that are important that if you can provide. We don't say that these are necessary to cover, but any type of your supplier information, which would be your contact information, for your company. In addition to that, any key contacts, of course, be prepared with enough business cards to leave with your appointments, but also having it here on a separate attached sheet would be important, so that it's another way that the retailer wholesaler member, when you leave this presentation with them, they have a quick resource about not only your company, but about who are the key people I need to contact to work with. And then finally, the items or the products that you were recommending, to provide them a short recap of those items by item number if you have it, what's going to be the cost to that retailer, what's a suggested retail, what's the gross margin percentage they're going to be making. And then if you've done your background regarding that retailer or wholesaler, is a recommended annualized volume of what you think that item will sell within that retailer based on the number of stores and the types of stores that they have. And what will that mean to them in total sales and in total profit for them at the end of the year? So hopefully that gives you a quick overview within 10 minutes. And if you're only going to use 5 to 6 minutes of that time with a new company, what's a quick way to provide them a couple of quick sheets to provide a little bit of background about your company, but also about your products and why they should be carrying it and what's the opportunity. More importantly, to leave that time at the end to then allow that retailer to ask any questions, but more importantly, to ask what are the next steps, and does that retailer have interest in your products, and what should the next steps be, and in what time frame. Now I'm going to move on, though, to a little bit of slightly different version of the presentation for a presentation to a retailer or wholesaler company that you may already be doing business with. It'll take on just a slightly different perspective because you're already doing some business with this retailer, but there's also opportunities to potentially do more business with that retailer and wholesale member. So again, you probably have a little bit more knowledge about the retailer and wholesaler. Again, make sure you look at any current information about that retailer or wholesaler. Have they changed any of their business plans? Have they opened any new stores? Are they looking for specific initiatives that may be of interest of products that you have? So again, if the more you can customize it, and in this case, again, provide their company name, logo, so they know that it's specific to them, would be important. Here again, always make sure that you provide any details about your company. Because you're doing business with them, they may be aware of who you are. But again, to provide it as a quick sheet, but there may be a new attendee from that company. So don't take for granted that they know about your company and your background. You don't have to cover it in detail, but always being able to provide that is important, especially for a new attendee from that retailer or wholesale member company. Here's also a good opportunity to just report on how is our business together. And we call it a business performance summary, where here you can look at not only the category or segment, but the items, how they're doing, what's been the total volume, or how that category in total is performing for categories and products where you have products with that retailer. Also, here's your opportunity then to say, boy, we're doing business with you already, but there are potential items that you're not carrying, or the retailer is not carrying or doing business with you with, that may be an opportunity. And here's your chance to provide those products or by item opportunities to provide not only the rationale of why that item or product should be in that retailer, what's the role that product will play within that retailer or the consumer need within that category that a retailer may not be offering. You can provide any background information regarding, what is its distribution or share currently outside of that retailer, that maybe they're missing that opportunity, that it is selling well in other stores or types of stores like that retailer. And again, then any type of support that you'll be providing for that product, either from a trade funding standpoint, incentives, other programs that you may have to offer to that retailer. And then finally, any type of other support that you're doing to support your business within that retailer, business you're already doing with, or the new items that you're just presenting to them. Is there things that you're doing from, again, a media promotional standpoint, social media, promotional or merchandising support within the store, by displays, by promotional materials, point of purchase, any type of other trade marketing programs, and finally, any type of a broker or sales support, not only at headquarters, but also at the retail level. And then finally, to look at what would be our key initiatives. If you're already doing business with them, okay, you've grown your business so far with that retailer. If you had to leave them maybe 1 to 3 key initiatives that you think will help that retailer grow their business, what would that be? And to list that initiative, the description, the category, and what you're going to do, and what would be the impact for that retailer if they were going to implement that one initiative with them. And then finally, again, to get a follow-up activity report. And again, to allow the time, but also to ask the questions of the information that you just presented. Can you please get a recap that if there is interest, what's the interest level immediately in the next couple of weeks, in a couple of months, or if there's not interest, to also get that feedback from the retailer. Again, once you do get a positive feedback, what type of follow-up should it be again? Is it going to be an appointment at that retailer with a specific person? Can it be a video call that you can have within the next couple of weeks with that retailer back at the headquarters? Or is it just a phone call that you need to make with a specific category buyer or retailer? And then also recap again, when do they need the implementation plan? Do they need any samples? And if it's an immediate action, if you are dealing with a seasonal or promotional timing for the retailer, when do they also want that done? Because it may be a 2-step follow-up with that retailer or wholesale member. And then finally, I skipped over one slide. Again, just as a leave behind, again, you don't have to cover the information, is again to make sure that the retailer has all of your company information as a supplier or service company. Again, any key contacts that you may want to leave with them in addition to your business cards. And then finally, you talked about a lot of you're doing business with that retailer already. A lot of them will also want to know, how is our business currently being done? Meaning, are our orders being filled on time? What's our fill rates? Do we have a certain out of stock level that that retailer wants to meet? So anything that you can provide them as far as how are you currently doing business from a logistics standpoint would be a great piece to leave with them. You don't need to cover it. Some wholesalers may ask for that ahead of time. So you would be aware of it, but here's another quick way to just give them a report on how you're doing with business that you've already supplied to them. And then also to leave them any type of information that you think would be important for them to be aware of, either from a promotional standpoint, any type of TPRs, any type of freestanding coupon inserts that they should be aware of, so that they are aware in their planning cycle to be aware of things that either you're offering to them or that you're going to be doing on a national basis. And then finally, if you are recommending any new products or items, to again provide that information in a quick recap to them by the item number, description, to provide the cost, again, the suggested retail, any type of gross margin they will then be making on that product. And then again, to provide them what is an estimated volume projection in both dollars and units that you'll be doing with them as a result of that retailer bringing that item into their stores. So I hope that gives you a quick overview of how to quickly prepare in a templated format a presentation for a controlled casual conference CCC appointment with a retailer or wholesaler member. Again, 2 types of presentations are available on the GMDC website. One doing new business with a new business partner, and then another presentation for an existing member partner. If you have any questions, These are both available on the GMDC website, or feel free to reach out to GMDC at any time, and we'll make sure that we answer any questions that you have or provide any more details for you. Thanks again. Is that okay?